how do you feel that the communication was between the workers?
Oh, it was pretty good, actually. I mean, it was the nurse, actually the nurse, right?
Yeah.
The nurse gave a pretty good report to the therapist. Kind of gave her a heads up how the patient was acting, even though it may have been biased.
I think the RT didn't get a good report from her, like they were leaving RT. She didn't know really anything about the patient.
Good point. Okay, so how could the communication have been improved? You basically just answered that. So by the RT before could have said something, or
If I would have gotten some kind of report more than just COPD exacerbation, it could have prepared me that she was combative or something like that.
so can anyone identify the diversity exposure in this situation? Okay. What else could have been done to help this patient?
I think the fact that there were prejudgments already between the nurse and the RT, it hindered them from being able to give a report. The main focus was the combativeness, as opposed to, well, let's dig deeper in her chart, let's ask if there's any other issues, or things like that.
Awesome.
And when you went in to work, instead of being argumentative with her, just explain to her that you were here to help her, to reinforce that just because you're a certain color does not mean I'm not gonna help you, but if that's your preference, I'll understand it and I'll allow you to do that, but tone and body language is everything, because even though people can't talk, they can read you and feel the energy.
Yeah.
You could also like had her write down something.
Yes.
And you could have assessed her pain, you know, 1 finger up for pain and 2 for no. Like,
Yeah. How do you feel the care providers handled this situation?
I think Jasmine handled it well, as far as communicating to you guys and to the patient, like, okay, we'll respect your wishes, but realistically, like, in healthcare, like, it's not, you're not gonna be like, okay, well, you know, we'll only allow, I mean, who's to say that you're gonna have
That color.
yeah, a team of the patient's preference, like,
Yeah.
so you have to respect the patient's wishes, but at the same time let them know, like, we are here to help you, and, you know, we might not be able to accommodate that realistically, but they have to understand that you're there for them, so.
Yeah.
And I think just being aware of that, like, before they didn't know why she was being combative, but once you know and you know what the issue is, I think with certain patients, even if they don't really want to work with a certain person, once everybody's aware of that, you come in the room and you deal with them differently. You kind of walk on eggshells and you're super nice, you know, once you know what the issue is, so.
The patient can build trust towards an individual.
So how could the situation have been different?
They could have found out earlier.
Yeah.
You know?
They could have found out before the patient was intubated in the ER.
Or
Look
like
through
the
the
paper
chart.
and say, write down, ask questions and have her write,
Yes.
you know. And get her involved in her own care as well.
Mhm.
Don't just say what you're gonna do. Ask, do you mind if I do this because I'm doing this because of this reason?
Yeah. All right. Has anyone else experienced something similar to this situation while clinical with patients, and how did you react?
Maybe it's not as far as like a racism thing, but I know that I've walked into like older men's rooms and they haven't felt comfortable having like a younger woman be around them. You know, if I'm trying to set up like oxygen or something and they have to go to the bathroom, even if they, like, the one man had like a catheter in and we're like, all right, you can just go, and he goes, no, like, I want you to leave first, so, yeah, stuff like that, and you just have to respect it and while still giving them the treatment that they need.
Exactly.
And don't take anything personal. It's not towards
Yeah.
you. It's just what they want.
I mean,
I actually experienced the opposite, when they wanted to show everything and I wanted to get out. It's too open. No.
Yeah.
And I wanted to hurry up and leave, but I tried to hurry up and you said but.
As far as your original question, I've definitely seen it in the hospital setting. Usually in the opposite direction, there's been patients I've had at work that, they're kind of stuck in their ways, they're a bunch of old heads, and they have that predisposed notion that it's just not what they like. So, the best you can do is what I always do is try to reinforce the fact that they're just here to help you, and they don't have any problems with you. They're just here to take care of you. So, the sooner we can get you better, the sooner you can go home. That's kind of what I want to remind them, because they're going to have a problem with it. I mean, if there really is a problem, then things can try to be changed, but kind of have to pay them in mind. We're here to do our jobs and take care of them. So, regardless of how we feel sometimes in our staffing situations, we have to do what we have.
Yeah.
And I think different cultures is not always about the physical appearance of how a person looks. Some cultures, I've experienced that if it's a man, they don't want a woman taking care of them just because of religious and cultural beliefs. So it's not a personal, oh, you don't like women or you have a problem with women, but it's more in their religion. If you're not married to them as a woman, you cannot take care of them or see them when they're not clothed and things like that. So the culture is not only about the outside, it's about people, their values and what they believe on the inside as well.
Yep. So the situation actually, I know you guys already heard, but it happened to me, so that's why we kind of picked it. So it was like, we weren't picking it out of thin air, but it did happen to me, and it usually doesn't happen to the opposite end, but it can happen. So that's what we're kind of trying to show, is it does happen to everybody sometimes. How can we improve ourselves to try and avoid a situation like this from happening?
You really can't avoid it. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen.
As much as possible, and don't be offended directly, just do this act and let it roll off and keep it moving.
Yep.
Don't dwell too much, because if that's how they feel, that's just how they feel when take it personally.
Yep.
And if a patient is in their right mind and they tell you not to touch them or get away from them and don't touch them. Like, just because a patient is intubated, if they're not on sedation, that doesn't mean they're crazy or delirious, and it's just, oh, lay down, like I'm going to do this anyway. They tell you not to touch them or get away from them. That's all you can do, and like they did, call someone else that is on the team to help you with it.
When is it okay to disrespect our patients because we feel offended?
Never.
Good answer, guys. Why is it so important to be able to be professional in a situation like this?
Liability. No, I'm just kidding.
Basically. No, that's a big part of it, yeah, but it's,
They're already offended, so the smallest thing will set them off.
yes.
It will make the situation 10 times worse.
Exactly.
You're not helping the situation, you're not helping the patient. All you're doing is just routing them up.
And you're
to the fire.
ruining your day, really, because that's just going to set you off for the rest of the day.
Good answers. When faced with a situation like the one you just saw, if a patient requests to only be seen by certain people and you can not fulfill that request, what would be the best way to handle it?
Communicate with the patient. Be like, hey, this is what's up,
It's like what Sam said before, like you can do your best to accommodate, but you can only do what you have.
Yeah, I mean, you can always follow the chain of command too, if they're not satisfied with your answer, then you can have a charge nurse or a manager come and talk to them and explain to them, this is what we have, Because sometimes just coming from someone with that title, can actually help resolve the situation.
And communication is key, because if you at least cover yourself by, maybe you don't have the staffing to accommodate them, but cover yourself by letting someone know, charge nurse, your superior, hey, this patient doesn't want me in there, they only want these type of people, but this is all we have. That way, if something does happen, they already know, oh, they had a problem with that patient, but we couldn't accommodate what that patient wanted.
Use your resources, guys. The hospitals have people that can come in and de-escalate the situation, because I think this situation is beyond your scope. So there are people to help you deal with it appropriately. So tell your supervisor, and your supervisor will go and find the people in the hospital, come down and speak to her. That's really not your role. I mean, you have to deal with the patient, but it's really not your role. So there are resources that you probably haven't used yet that are there.
It's, patient relations advocates.
Yep.
While working in this field, we will run into so many different people with so many different backgrounds. What do you think we should do to be able to adapt to these different patients?
Be open. Be accepting and be open. Don't say, yeah, you have to be accepting and open. And be okay with change. Because change comes in many different forms. Just be okay with it, because nothing stays the same for a long period of time. So when change, sometimes we have to adapt and change as well, personally and professionally. So be okay with it.
And also educate ourselves
Yeah.
on different situations, different beliefs, cultures, religions. Miss Pat?
Don't be judgmental,
Yeah.
because we all come with preconceived from our childhood on up, how we were raised, from our culture. And so sometimes it's hard, but if you're in this field where we're all supposed to take care of other patients, you have to throw that out the door. And it's hard. Sometimes you have to walk away and just kind of like say, that's their choice.
Like we had a patient yesterday, Danielle, Ashley, he was a young guy, GSW. He was intubated for a while, so they had to treat him, so I guess he was just mad at the world. So I had to go and, change, do trach care, change his pain. He kept smacking my hand, he took his oxygen off, he didn't want to keep his oxygen on. I purposely think he tried to cough that stuff on me, I jumped back real quick. I'm like, look, so I suctioned him, but he was just mad at the world, so I couldn't take it personal. He just was upset with his situation, but I had to keep doing my job and explain to him that you need to keep your oxygen on, you need to do certain things, but he didn't want to hear it anyway, but I did what I had to do and I left.
And professionalism and self-control is very important. When you're in the health field, whatever a patient is feeling, you're the first one to get that, because you're right at the bedside with them. So a lot of them are depressed, they're scared, they're upset, so you always have to be professional and have self-control so that you're not reactive to an already combustible situation.
When you feel like you're ready to like explode, you know what I'm saying? Like when no matter what you're doing in the patient's room, you need to walk away. You need to walk away and tell somebody, because that'll be your best friend. Because when you say something, you can't take it back. And then that sets up for a whole bunch of other issues and legality. Walk away. And don't say anything. You know that saying, 24-hour rule? Like when you're in an argument with somebody, you walk away and you'll see things in a different light.
And in this situation, you have more to lose than the patient. The patient can say a ton of things to you, and they're not going to get fired, but you could get fired and sue all that other stuff.
So everybody's too happy today.
So we have a closing statement, which is we would need to keep an open mind and heart. Not everyone is the same. Not everyone represents a whole population, whether it be race, career, culture, religion, etc. It is important to form our own opinions about the patient, not base it off of what we're told from other people. There are plenty of times where a patient is represented as abusive, and to be cautious or nice and sweet, and they are the exact opposite. Being in a hospital is a terrifying experience, and we're here to help them along the way. Does anybody have any questions?